from Enrico County, Don McEachin, who will talk at this time. Don?
Thank you, Congressman, and thank all of you all for getting on the call, and thank you, Susan, for pulling this call together. You know, it is laughable when the Republicans in the General Assembly want to suggest that the governor doesn't have the power to do this, or they question his power to do this. It makes you wonder if they've read the Constitution. As the Congressman said, Article 5, Section 12 of the Constitution of Virginia says that the governor has the power to, quote, remove political disabilities consequent upon conviction for offenses committed prior or subsequent to the adoption of this Constitution. This power is without limitation. His only requirement is that he tell the General Assembly when they're in regular session who's had those disqualifications removed. And I think it's also important that you good folks in the media let your readers and your listeners know that the governor hasn't just said 200,000 people or 206,000 people. He's actually identified each person. So this isn't some sort of blanket grant of the voting, of the right to vote, or the restoration of the right to vote. Each person has been identified, and if he decides to do it again, each person will, the new set of folks will be identified at that point in time. It's also laughable that the Republicans want to have a General Assembly, a special session for this, because we put these bills in all the time. I have personally sponsored, at least in the past 2 or 3 years, each year, I should say, in the last 2 or 3 years, a constitutional amendment to restore the voting rights, not of just nonviolent felons, but all felons. Because the question that we're really faced with is, if we are a society that is about redemption, if we are about second chances, then this is the appropriate policy. We don't need to distinguish between felons and non-felons in the ways that the legislature, or some of the legislature, want to do. And the fact of the matter is that they don't even let these bills or these resolutions out on the floor for a full and vigorous debate. They rather keep them bottled up or kill them without so much as a recorded vote. So now all of a sudden that the governor's exercised his power, they seek to have a special session. As tempting as it would be to debate them on the floor on this issue, I think the governor is absolutely right. They have nothing to do with his powers under Section 5. Article 5, Section 12 of the Constitution, and they are engaging in hypocrisy at best. And I will turn it back over to Susan, and we'll be